Shalom, shalom, brother.
Oh man, shalom, shalom. I guess that's better right there. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Man, bless. Working all these hours.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, late too.
yeah. Like I was telling brother Wallace, trying to get my son to he be living with me next year, man. So just trying to get everything set up and prepared for him.
Oh, great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Yeah, bring the family close.
yeah. Got
I
to.
know it's really hard on that road for you without your family.
Man, it was super hard, man. That's all I kept thinking about was my daughter, my son. I say, man, something happened and I ain't close by. I'm a wig out, man. I say, but the Most High found favor and found me something better.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's real good. Nobody should have to experience that. Yourself had to go through that with his godson, and
correct,
you're using that privilege. You know, it was a decision for him to make to stay and
correct,
follow through rather than to go home and take care of everybody.
correct.
Yeah, tough position. I couldn't imagine because I'm not a man, but I'm sure it's hard.
Yeah, glad you understand it. I'm glad you understand it, man. It's Miles. It's yeah, but I ain't gonna lie. It's been since I've been rocking with the Most High and keeping my head straight. It's actually been getting easy for me, pretty light. I guess they one line if you actually hold to his commandments and do right. I believe where it's really hard is uh people. I think a lot of people want too much, and a lot of people are doing too much, and a lot of people live above their means. Uh, since I don't live that way, everything can just be easy on me. Like I was telling brother Yermiah, my light bill was $22 last week. It was 30, not last week, but last month. It's $33 this month. I use a lot of candles. It's about the only time you'll see me using a lot of light. I'm on
You don't hear
live.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you, King.
It looks like you're going in and out, King. How's your signal and everything? Did you get that Wi-Fi?
Nah, I'm on my phone right now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Little swirling thing on the screen.
Huh?
Sometimes there's like a little swirling thing on the screen, like buffering or whatever it is, and it'll do it on your screen. So I don't want you to go 5 minutes start doing that. That mess is frustrating.
Yeah. Can you hear me clearly, Sister Uma?
I was gonna say he's very, very clear to me, but it's yours that's kind of going
Yeah.
in and
Okay. Okay. All right.
now you're a little clearer.
Copy that. Copy that. Okay. Okay.
You driving out?
Yeah, he went out.
Is he going out on your end too, or am I tripping?
No, you just went out.
Oh, okay, so I go out. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. That way I know. Yeah, I'm still driving, you guys. I'm on my way home. I'm like 2 minutes up the street.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
So
wait
maybe
for
I'll
you.
I'll work better when I get up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll wait for you.
All right. Any one of y'all? Well, who's under Wi-Fi? Uma, brother Enoch.
I'm on my phone. I'm using straight internet.
Okay, and Uma probably under Wi-Fi, correct?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. My signal's just is probably just bad. So that's probably why I'm going in and out. But I can hear y'all perfectly though. When I do see and hear y'all are sounding and looking really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And are we live right now? Oh, I see. Go ahead.
Yeah, we live. I was waiting for Mama Rhonda. I sent her the link too.
Yeah, you might want to cut the live until you get everything together.
I don't know if he can hit pause. I think if you end it, I think that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sent. Yeah, like I said, we chill. I'm just waiting. I was waiting for Mama Rhonda. She said she was trying to get in.
All right. Okay.
Let me see right
All
quick.
right.
Let me see. I'm gonna try to call Mama. I'm gonna try to call Mama Rhonda. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Rock on. Okay, there we go. Brother Jeremiah, you still there? Sister Uma, you still there too? Y'all good?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I'll give 2 more minutes. Well, not 2. I guess when they come back on. But yeah, sister, it's like I was telling. So me and Brother Jeremiah, we was conversating with a brother the other day. He said he claimed he only read 2 pages of the Clementine homilies, and so the brother said that he feel like it was from what did he say? A scholar's view. So like I asked the brother, I said, if you only read 2 pages, how could you say it was from a scholar's view? So I ended up reading some things what changed his mind on it, but a lot of people don't realize. So I didn't realize how really I realized how golden Clementine homilies was, but the more and more, like I said, I start reading like the Nazarene Acts, which is it's the same, but it's not the same because Clementine homilies they run in with each other, but the Nazarene Acts it answers a lot of questions that a lot of people probably been asking all their lives, but couldn't get the direct answer. And so when I say, man, I ran across one thing. This one thing I can say, I'm gonna take these socks off. I'm 100% sure of. Since I've been in this truth, I remember. I believe it was Peter, somebody that said something like, "If you ask by faith." So asking by faith is basically like if you ask certain questions within your heart, and they'll be revealed. I'm gonna say this: 100% facts. Everything that I've ever asked has been revealed to me. You know what I'm saying? I just don't ask questions like how was God made, because that's not something I can get judged for, and that's not my business. You know what I'm saying? My understanding, the energy has always been eternal. You know, so yeah. So with this Nazarene Acts books, it clarifies a lot of things. You know, like I say, one of my favorite verses in there. I got a lot of them in there, but when I think Simon or somebody, I don't know if it was Simon or or the old man that asked him basically like, why does God allow things to happen? When uh, it was if he foreseen it was going to be like sinners and stuff like that. And so Peter gave one of the greatest answers ever. So what he said was basically that like our God is not a fearful God. So what that means is if God would have never created creation because he's seen a few bad seeds in a bunch, then
Mm-hmm.
that would show that God has some type of fear, and so he doesn't fear sinners or righteous people, you know. And so what
Yeah.
he did was he foreseen everything and he created everything for a reason. Nothing happens for no reason, and it was all part of his playing field. Just like I said, we're gonna break it down. It even talks about why we supposed to be working, prove why we supposed to be working. It's simple, and like I said, it's all around us. And so basically, to sum everything all up, everything that you see done in this world is for a righteous purpose, and it's basically for you to choose whether or not you want to do good or evil. If you want to sum it all up, you know. Like for instance, like me and brother Yuri, I was reading to the brother. Uh, you know, uh, he gave you two hands to work. He gave you two hands to work, but you can choose your own free will and choose to do evil if you want. You can do theft, you can do murder, but that's on you. But like they said, it's according to free will. If we was all made not with free will, then righteousness would not be prescribed to you. So the fact that you have the option to do good, righteousness is prescribed to you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, um,
Okay.
yeah.
I see. I see. I see. When's tonight lesson on? What's you got a topic or?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I got a lot of it. Like I got a whole computer of things, like I say, that is full of topics. You know what I'm saying? We just got to get to them. So I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get myself back in the groove of this, and
Mm-hmm.
get myself rolling. So basically, the tonight's topic would be God's knowledge. Okay. And so what it basically does is it breaks down Genesis 1 and other things. And a lot of people, like we said, a lot of people may seem like they have God's knowledge, but this goes deep into what his knowledge really is. And again, like we say, his knowledge is all around us. But how the Nazarenes and the Essenes put it, they put it so beautiful. And this is what I want. And so what I told Yirmiya, the information I'm bringing, I want you guys to be able to, if people come to you guys and want to ask you guys certain questions, I want you guys to be able to answer some of the hardest questions that even philosophers and so-called wise people can't answer, because these answers were only given to a select few. Let me give you some deeper knowledge. Do you know how blessed you are, Sister Uma, to have the knowledge you all have? For the simple fact, like Peter said, uh, by you doing these things, you became a friend of Yahshua, and so the Most High only selected a few. Okay, it's basically like in every generation, you can say that properly. But as far
Mm-hmm.
as our generation, when you follow these true teachings, you are considered a friend of Yahshua. You know, and that's how blessed we are. We have become friends of Yahshua, and the only way is that is through by keeping his teachings. And like Peter said, he only selected a few, and this is why you only see a few of us. You know, so blessed is all of us to receive these teachings. And peace and bless to your brother yourself. Uh,
Yeah.
he in the building. So like I say, shalom, King, shalom. Glad y'all joined. So, like I say, I'll be breaking down God's universal knowledge. It's all within the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. You got your Nazarene Acts of the Apostles out?
Let me.
Okay.
I got mine. It's in the back seat. I'm driving though. It's in the back seat.
Okay. We got Mama Rhonda in the building. Shalom, Mama.
I don't got some gospel.
We got a scene Nazarene. We got the family here. Cool.
Shalom, fam. Shalom, my key son.
Hey, what's
Shalom.
up? Shalom.
Got everybody here.
And brother, son.
Yeah, that's my brother's son. He's my brother. He's my son.
That's right. So what we gonna do is we'll start off at page 184. If y'all can get y'all Nazarene Acts. I know my brother driving. Yosef, he driving, so he said he's gonna be listening in. So we're gonna start off at page 184. Yep. Let me know when y'all get there.
Yeah.
Seeing Nazarene Yirmiyahu, he joined, but he might be having a problem. Ain't no telling, because he about usually would have said something by now.
All right, hold on, fam. Hold on. Y'all just keep going. Y'all keep going. I'll catch up. I'm disembarking from my truck going into my house, but I'm still listening.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I mean, like from my personal truck into the house. That's what I'm saying. I can't write nothing down right now, but I'm listening in the meantime. So y'all just go ahead. I'll catch up.
Okay, so by the time I'm gonna read Genesis chapter 1. So by the time we done with that, you should probably be finished, man. Man, you say disembarking. When I say I could be having some words, I got time. I gotta read that dictionary.
Oh
Man.
Teacher's kid.
Man, dude be intelligent as above, boy. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, so like I say, so Genesis chapter 1. So like I said, with Genesis chapter 1, I'm gonna read Genesis 1. And then I'm gonna break Genesis chapter 1 all the way down through our Nazarene teachings. Since we all heard we ain't got no reason to go fast, I ain't on the Wi-Fi, nothing. As long as y'all can hear me clearly, we should be good. So, all right, it's very simple. So I'm gonna start with Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of the Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And the Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And Elohim called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Elohim said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear," and it was so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and gathering together the waters called the seas, and he saw that it was good. Elohim said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and the herb yielding seed after its kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself, after his kind, and God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day, and God said, let there be light in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be signs for seasons, and for days, and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, to rule the day and over the night, and divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning he called the fourth day. God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the morning, the moving creatures that have life, fowl that may fly above the earth, fowls that may fly above the earth, and the open firmament of the heaven. God created the great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after its kind, and every winged fowl after its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters of the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day, and God said, let the earth bring forth the living creatures after his kind, cattle, creeping thing, and beasts on the earth after their kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after their kind. God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image, our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image, and the image God created he them, male and female he created them. God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which the fruit of the yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was good. All right. So now what we do is we go to the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, and we break all this down. Okay. So we'll start at page 184, Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. It starts off as motion of the stars. All right. Motion of the stars. So y'all let me know when y'all there. Y'all let me know when y'all there. Whoever's reading, that way I don't get too far ahead. Page 184. Sister Uma, you there? Mama Rhonda, y'all there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, y'all at 184.
Yes.
All right. So here we go.
Yes.
We're gonna break down the whole Genesis, but we're gonna break it. This is we can read Genesis all day, but we're gonna dive deeper into it. Okay. Motion of the stars. But lest the assertion may seem doubtful, respecting things that are not obvious to all, let us come to those things of which nobody is ignorant. Okay. Who disposed the courses of the stars with so great reason, ordained their risings and settings, and appointed to each one to accomplish the circuit of the skies in certain and regular times, who assigned to some to be always approaching to the setting, and others to be returning to the rising, who put a measure upon the courses of the sun, that he might mark out by his diverse motions hours, days, months, and changes of the seasons, or that he might distinguish by the sure measurement of the course, now winter, spring, summer, afterwards autumn,
and always by the same changes of the year, complete the circle with variety, without confusion. Who I say would not pronounce that the director of such order is the very wisdom of Elohim. And these things we have spoken according to the relations given to us by the Greeks respecting the science of the heavenly bodies. So understand, just within that passage, Peter's acknowledged that the wisdom of Elohim is shown through the courses of the firmament, the sun, the moon, the stars, as well as the seasons, winter, summer, spring, fall. All right. I'm sorry, in autumn also. In autumn, I thought autumn was summer for some reason, but okay. I mean spring, not spring, but winter. Maybe I'm tripping. But anyways, we're gonna move on to the next passage. Providence and earthly things. But what will we say of those things also that we see on earth or in the sea? Are we not plainly taught that not only the work, but also the providence of Elohim is in them? Everything on this earth has the providence of Elohim in them. All right? Here we go. For where is, there are on the earth lofty mountains in certain places. Now, he's going to break down to you. We're going to give you knowledge, what the mountains are for. Okay? So if someone comes to ask you, what is the purpose of the mountains? Because remember, if you read scripture, I believe that Psalm somewhere where it says the mountains do not declare your name. All of these things we're going to break down is going to all make sense when we finish. Somebody else is trying to come in. Let's see. Is anybody else? Okay. Well, we got everybody here. Let me see who are we are. Are we missing somebody? Okay. Okay, you still here. All right. So we're not missing nobody. Okay. So let's break down what the mountains do. The mountains in certain places, their purpose, you guys can highlight this, is that the air being compressed and confined by them through the appointment of Elohim, may be forced and pressed out into the winds, by which fruits may germinate and the summer heat may moderate when the Pleiades glow. Fire with blaze of the sun. But you will say, why the blaze of the sun? That moderating should be required. How then should fruit be ripened that are necessary for the uses of men? But observe this also, that in the meridian axis, where the heat is greatest, there is no great collection of clouds, nor an abundant fall of rain, lest disease should be produced among the inhabitants. For watery clouds, if they are acted on by rapid heat, render the air impure and pestilent. And the earth also, receiving the warm rain, does not afford nourishment to the crops, but destruction. And this, who can doubt that there is the working of the Elohim in short Mitzrayim, which is scorched with the heat of Ethiopia in its neighborhood, lest the air should be incurably corrupted by the effects of showers. Its plains do not receive rain furnished to them from the clouds, but as it were an earthly shower from the overflow of the Nile. Rivers and seas. What will we say of the fountains and rivers, which flow with perpetual motions into the sea? And by Elohim's power, neither does their abundant supply fail, nor does the sea, though it receives so great quantities of water, experience increase, both those elements that contribute to it and those that are thus contributed remain in the same proportion. But you will say to me, the salt water naturally consumes the fresh water that is poured into it. Well, in this is revealed the work of providence, which means the work of Elohim, that it made that element salt into which is turned into the courses of all waters that it had provided for the use of men, so that through great spaces of time the channel of the sea has not been filled, though it once produced a deluge destruction to the earth and to men. Nor will anyone be foolish as to think that this so great reason and so great providence has been arranged by irrational nature. So understand, when he's saying it is not has been produced by irrational nature, he's saying this has been done by the providence of Elohim. This is not something that just acted upon itself. All these things are done by Elohim. The waters, the seas, the abundant flow of the waters, the salt waters, the mountains, which helps the wind compress, which gives nourishment to our fruits. We need them. Everything works its course for what we have today. This is showing the great true power and knowledge of the Most High. But just wait, it's going to get deeper. It's going to get more understanding and glorified as we keep reading. So understand, from the rapid heat, nourishment of the crops, okay? Everything that we're reading about is done with the mind. And with the mind, there is reason. So with the reason, there is mind, and by there being mind, that means there's an Elohim, not irrational nature. Let's break it down. Plants and animals. But what will I say of plants? And what of animals? Is it not the providence that has ordained that plant, when they decay by old age, should be reproduced by suckers or the seeds that they have themselves produce, and animals by propagation? ? And by a certain wonderful dispensation of providence, milk is prepared in the udders of the dams for the animals before they are born. And as soon as they are born, with no one to guide them, they seek out the store of nourishment provided for them. And not only males are produced, but females also, that by means of both the race may be perpetuated. But lest this should seem, as some think, to be done by a certain order of nature, and not by the appointment of a creator, he has, as a proof, an indication of his providence, ordained a few animals to preserve their stock on the earth in the exceptional way. For example, the crow, listen y'all, conceives through the mouth. The weasel brings forth through the ear. Some birds, such as hens, sometimes produce eggs conceived of wind or dust. Other animals convert male into female and change their sex every year, as hares and hyenas, which they call monsters. Others spring from the earth and get their bodies from it, as moles, others from ashes, as vipers, others from purifying flesh, as wasps from horse flesh, bees from ox flesh, others from cow dung, as beetles, others from herbs, as the scorpion from the basin, and again herbs from animals, as parsley and asparagus, from the horn of the stag or the she-goat. Germination of seeds. And what occasion is there no mention? More instances in which the Elohim has ordained the reproduction of animals to be affected in various ways. That order being suspended, that is thought to be assigned by nature, from which not rational course of things, but one arranged by his own reason. So understand, let me say that again. This was all done by reason. So when somebody asks you, you tell them this was not done by irrational nature. Everything you see was done by reason. And if it was done by reason, it had to have a mind. And we know that man did not do all of this. But this was done by a more powerful mind than ours. Here we go. but one arranged by his own reason might be advanced. And in this also, there is not a full work of providence shown. When seeds sown or prepared by means of the earth and water for the sustenance of men. Okay? There's another vegan verse right there for you. When seeds are sown, that's a substance for men, brings forth fruit out of the earth. Okay, so again, what's the reason for seeds to be sown? For men, as well as females, but we know that's all within one, mankind. For the substance, for mankind. That right there shows reason, not by rational nature. So again, reason is done, cannot be done without a mind. Let's keep going. For when these seeds are committed to the earth, the soil milks upon the seeds as from its tits. That's literally basically what it's saying, titties, but it's tits. The moisture that it has received into itself by the will of Elohim, for there is in the water a certain power of the Ruach given by Elohim from the beginning, by whose operation the structure of the body that is to be began to be performed in the seed itself, and to be developed by means of the blade and the ear. For the grain of the seed being swelled by the moisture, that power of the Ruach that has been made to reside in water, running as an incorporeal substance through certain narrow passages of veins, excites the seed to growth, an element in which the vital Ruach is contained and inborn. It is cause, not only is it revived, but also that in appearance and form in all aspects, like to the seed that had been sown, is reproduced. Now, who that has a particle of sense will think that this method depends upon irrational nature and not upon divine wisdom. There it is. None of this happened by irrational nature, but this is done by divine wisdom. Reason cannot be a reason without mind. So therefore, this reason was done by a divine wisdom. Let's keep going. Lastly, also, these things are done in a resemblance of the birth of men. So there you have it right there. Remember, he said, not one jot or tittle shall disappear from the law. So just like how they talk about the virgin birth, he just told you right there, these are a resemblance of the birth of men. So everything we just broke down from the generation of seeds, they're planted within the earth brings forth its babies, its fruits, trees, whatever. Same way with the birth of mankind. You plant that seed within a woman, she brings forth her babies. That right there just kills the virgin birth. But that's another topic. So again, everything is with reason, not done by irrational nature. Here we go. For the earth seems to take the place of the womb, into which the seed being cast, here it is, as both formed and nourished by the power of water and Ruach, as we have said before. So all must understand that this whole earth depends on one good main element, which is water, which has the power of the Ruach in it. For those who don't know, this is why baptism is important. Because when people get baptized, this is what I was telling somebody the other day. Baptism means that you are acknowledging Genesis chapter 1. You're acknowledging your origin. You're acknowledging that man and everything came from the beginning, which was water and ground. But they don't know that, though. We'll break that out in some time, but that's also in the Clementine homilies. Understand that water is something everybody needs, which is one of the most powerful element. Without it, we detonate it. We done. Here we go. The power of water. But in this also, Elohim is to be admired, that he permits us to see and know the things that are made, but has placed in secrecy and concealment the way and manner in which they are done. Let me read that again. He permits us to see and know the things that are made, everything around us we see, okay? But has placed in secrecy and concealment the way and matter in which they are done. that they may not be competent to the knowledge of the unworthy. This is why I bagged off. I said, you know what? Let me go teach my folks somewhere else, because this knowledge ain't for everybody. We made in his likeness and in his image. So we're supposed to conceal this knowledge away from them, because it's not for them. This is for the friends of Yahshua, truly deeply in study within the Nazarene teachings. So he conceals his knowledge. We got to help conceal it also. Let's bring it forth. Again, that they may not be competent to the knowledge of the unworthy. All of us here are worthy today. That's a blessing. But may be laid upon to the worthy and faithful when they have deserved it. But to prove by facts and examples that nothing is imparted to seeds of the substance of the earth, but that all depends upon the element of water and the power of the Ruach that is in it. For example, that 100 talents weigh the earth are placed in a very large trough, and there are sown in it several kinds of seeds, either herbs or shrubs, and that the water enough is supplied for watering them, and that the care is taken for several years, and that the seeds that are gathered are stored up, for example, of corn or barley, and other sorts separately from year to year, until the seed of each sort amount to 100 talents weight. Then also let the stalks be pulled up by the roots and weighed. After all these have been taken from the trough, let the earth be weighed, it will still give back its 100 talents, weighed undiminished. Whence then will we say that all the weight and all the quantity of different seeds and stalks has come? Does it not appear without doubt that it has come from the water? Huh? Everything comes from water. So again, who is this? There we go. There we go. Got Brother Wallace Rollins in. You following along, King?
Yes, sir.
Let's keep going. So understand, everything is done by water. So let it be known. Baptism, again, you're acknowledging Genesis chapter 1. You're acknowledging your true origins. Man came from water. Our body, they even tell you in school and science that our body is made of 90% water, the rest with food. Without water, we are drowned. And water has the ruach of our Elohim within it. Everything you see around you, it's not done by irrational nature, but done with reason. For example, again, you place a seed inside the earth. Why would you place a seed inside the earth? So that it can grow forth food for your nourishment. That right there shows reason. And since that is a reason, this lets it be known that that reason has a mind, which is called divine wisdom. Let's keep going. For the earth retains entirely what it is own, but the water that has been poured in all through it nowhere, on account of the powerful virtue of the divine condition, which by the one species of water both prepares the substance of so many seeds and shrubs, and form their species, and preserve the kind while multiplying and increase. So what we're doing is, we're reading Genesis chapter 1 inside of Nazarene Acts right now. But what it's doing is it's giving you the reason of Genesis chapter 1. It's showing you the reason, and that this was all done by divine wisdom. So we still in Genesis 1, but we in Genesis 1 with reason. Let's keep going. The human body. We ain't left Genesis 1 yet. We still there. Human body. Listen to this. From all these things, I think it is sufficiently and abundantly evident that all things are produced, and the universe consists by a designing sense, and not by irrational operation. So these things are done by divine wisdom, a divining sense, and by reason. Okay? Not by irrational nature. Divining sense, divine wisdom, and reason, not by irrational nature. Let's keep going. But let us come now, if you please, to our own substance, that is, the substance of man, who is a small world, a micronism, and the great world. Now let us consider, with that reason, it is compounded. And from this especially you will understand the wisdom of the Creator. For although man consists of different substances, one mortal and the other immortal, yet by the skillful contrivance of the Creator, their diversity does not prevent their union. And that although the substance be diverse and alien, the one from the other, for the one is taken from the earth and formed by the Creator, like Adam, but the other is given from immortal substance. And yet the honor of its immortality is not violated by this union, nor does it, as some think, consist of reason, desire, and passion, but rather such affection seem to be in which by which it may be moved in each of these directions. For the body, which consists of bones and flesh, takes its beginning from the seed of man, which is extracted from the marrow of warmth and conveyed into the womb as into soil, to which it adheres and is gradually moistened from the fountain of the blood, and so is changed into the flesh and bones and formed into the likeness of who injected the seed. So again, this is not done by irrational nature. This is done by divine wisdom, divine reason. Break that down again. What is the reason? Let's break down the reason to this. For the body, which consists of bones and flesh, takes its beginning from the seed of man. What's the reason? Show us how. Which is extracted from the marrow by its warmth, conveyed into the womb as into soil. Okay? The best way I can put it is showing you how the seed, the ejaculation of man, okay, goes inside the woman. Best way I can put it without being so, you know what I mean, okay? So, which is extracted from the marrow of the warmth, conveyed into the womb as into soil, to which it adheres, is gradually moistened from the fountain of the blood, and so is changed into the flesh and bones, and is formed into the likeness of him who injected the seed. Now, what did it tell you? But in this also, Yahweh is to be admired, that he permits us to see and know the things that are made. We can see this plainly being done around the world on how mankind is brought forth. These are not done by irrational nature, but by divine wisdom and reason. So again, when you go in unto a woman, it's not to be for pleasure, but the reason is for what? For you to bring forth mankind. So that right there would be your reason. But there has to be a divine wisdom or a divine creator that even gave you that type of power to do that. Because you didn't give yourself that. So this divine wisdom knew this, gave us this, and this is how we are born. So the fact that I'm able to go in unto a woman and create mankind, that wasn't done by rational nature, but by my mind and wisdom and reasoning, this was done. But the operation who created it is divine wisdom, and that's our Elohim. Let's keep going.
Aki, before you
Yes,
go on,
ma'am.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
From what you were just saying, which we know that a man and woman, wife and husband comes together, to create or procreate. But even in that design, was it not designed that they find pleasure, you know, in each other's body, you know, because okay, this is the way my brain, okay, I'm just being honest, this is the way my brain is working. This is why I'm asking this question.
Okay.
You know, um just lost my thought.
Take your time.
It was designed to also find pleasure, because if there, to me, if there was no pleasure in the coming together of husband and wife, to me it would be as, oh, if I say it like that, I'm just gonna say it, but try and understand what I'm saying. To me, it would be just as if when the animals are procreating, they do this because they were also designed to do that, but there's no affection or sexual desire, so to speak, amongst them. So even in this design that you have spoken of, was not the pleasure of a husband and wife body also designed in this?
All right. So the best way I can answer that is about what I mean by pleasure, right? I'm saying, like, for instance, when Peter said that he created lust for us to increase humanity, okay? So yes, there's a pleasure at a certain extent. You feel me? But again, but that pleasure is only to increase humanity. You know, that's all that's for. Like he said, he gave us anger to hate what's wrong. He gave us sorrow so we can grieve over our loved ones when they pass away. These are the universal laws. So yeah, there's pleasure in it, but only for the extent of increasing humanity. Who else is this?
Hey, Enoch, man, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hey, solid, my boy, solid, man. I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it. I put in the chat 184 to like 188. Is that about right?
yeah. Y'all be going into 187.
Okay, thank you for that. And so Peter also said, and I don't remember, you can correct me if I'm wrong. He said all things require moderation. You know what I mean? So
Correct.
even though the Most High gave man the ability to lust, he also gave man righteous judgments to do with that. That's why a man's supposed to get him a wife. That's why we're supposed to eat herbs, and everything has an order. Everything has uh, a mediation to it if done righteously, you know. But then he was talking about there's also immoderation, and I think that might have been in book 4, but it was solid. And so what you were getting at was the way the sun, the moon, the stars were set up was for the blessing and the benefit of mankind through the germination of seeds, the way that they germinate, because the way the mountains push up the air and things like that, which can help create winds and things like that, or cool breezes and stuff like that. That you said the most man couldn't have created that, and I agree with that. Man couldn't have done a lot of these things when man wants to think that he's a god. Like I said, like I think me and you was talking where somebody don't believe there's a God, but King, somebody put that sun up there. Man couldn't have done it. It's too high. You know,
Right, because I
somebody
was
put the moon up there. No, man couldn't have done it. It's too high. You know, the mountains are too big, too deep. The valleys are too wide. The waters is too great. The wind operates without mankind's. I read this in them like last week. We were talking about, and I think it was in the homilies where it said there are two. I think it was talking about two wheels, something to that degree, where the Most High gave the ornaments and elements of nature a wheel that operates off of necessity for the benefit of mankind. It's like saying the same thing, but then he gave man free will to operate within that as well, and mankind gets rewards or punishment. And I'm like, man, that's solid. You know, when we was talking about free will and stuff like that. And so it shows proof of the evidence of a righteous creator that goes deeper than anything that man can try to claim. And I yield.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
okay. Can I add with that also?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, the reason I brought out the point the way I brought it out is because I see we were, as according to Genesis, made in his image and in his likeness. So to me, that's like um we are, oh, I don't want to say like above all other creation, but there is a, I'll say emotion. There's an emotion and feelings. I hear what Aki Yahoo was saying about, even though, and you said, even though, like Peter said, and we were given this lust, but I don't always see lust as a sexual thing. I see it as an over indulging or desire for something that is obsessive with. But I don't know if you all are missing, you know my point in it is that as human beings, um like the seeds are planted and they grow, as you are all saying, in all this, but there's something different that I feel that has been put within mankind when it comes to uh uh uh, uh procreating, within, ourselves. That's where I'm coming at. I'm not just looking at it as a sexual thing, but I feel that there was something more within us, that we have these emotions and these feelings, and of course we can, go overboard with it. But to me, this is just me. I don't feel like it's just about procreating. It's about finding pleasure and joy within the husband and wife. Has it got out of hand? Yes. Look at the world now. All these sexual fornications and children born out of wedlock and all this. But just trying to stick here at this point here, that's what I was trying to bring forth, about, there's a desire that we as husband and wives should have toward one another. But even in that, we still have to be careful that it doesn't become just the focal point of sexual interaction with one another. I think I worded that things go on in my head, but I can't always verbalize how it's going on in there. So that's why sometimes it sounds like I'm rambling on, because I'm trying to put those thoughts together. But that was the point I was trying to bring out. I see and I understand how you were bringing it out as creation, and it's the divine providence of the Most High. But I just felt like there was something just a little bit more, because we were created in His image and after His likeness. So I digress. That's just what I wanted to bring out and say.
Okay, understandable. Yeah, like I say, my best answer to that, like I say, um, a lot of us were conceived uh, into madness. Uh, there is, like you say, there is a desire. It has to be a desire, you know. But like you say, once we overly indulge into things we're not supposed to be doing, that's what makes his power. We make his power a great lie, you know. Um, again,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
everything is simple.
Little bit, little bit.
He made nothing. He made nothing hard,
Do you guys know like your trainer?
and so
Not mine. Some of us do, but they haven't assigned me to one yet.
would you say I?
Who's that?
That's
Oh, is
somebody's
that
My fault. I'm
yourself?
background.
checking into the room. My speaker was on.
Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna say, man, what is that? Okay,
Okay.
all right. Uh-huh.
All right. So hopefully we get to the part that also will help break that down. But let's carry on. But I see what sister's saying. But we can touch back on that topic some other time. That's cool. But I think everybody, for the most part, is getting what we trying to get with this whole topic at, So we at 187, symmetrics of the body. Again, this is all God's knowledge, Elohim's knowledge. And marking this work, page 187, and marking this work of the designer. There has to be a designer. How he has inserted the bones like pillars on which the flesh might be sustained and carried. So again, when there is a reason, there has to be a mind. So with this reason, this mind that we're talking about is the divine wisdom of Elohim. So the reason for bones like pillars is so that the flesh might be sustained and carried. Okay? This goes back to what he said. He permits us to see and know the things that are made, but is placed in secrecy and concealment the way and manner in which they are done. So, the bones like pillars, what's the reason? So the flesh might be sustained and carried. Then again, how an equal measure is preserved on either side, that is the right and the left, so that the foot answers to the foot, the hand to the hand, and even finger to finger, so that each agrees in perfect equality with each, and also eye to eye, ear to ear, which not only suitable to and match with each other, but also are formed fit for necessary uses. Here it is.
I like that. I like that. Can keep it up. Keep going.
Let's keep going.
Like that.
The hands, for instance, are made to fit for work. So anybody that think they supposed to be walking around here and not doing nothing, just begging on the streets, ain't got it. You tell that person if they ain't got some. Listen, I can't even say if they ain't got, unless they got no legs and no arms, because I've seen people play basketball. I've seen people work with one arm. I've seen people work with no legs and two arms. So it's really no excuse, unless you have. I mean, literally, like I gotta see that. Yo, it ain't nothing you can do to work. That's the only way I feel bad for people now. Now that I done read this, it got to be serious. I mean, seriously, something wrong with you. Because that's the first thing I asked them now. Let's break that down. The hands, for instance, are made to fit for work. The feet for walking. Again, reason, mind, divine wisdom. The eyes, protected with the sentinel eyebrows to serve the purpose of sight. The ears, so formed hearing, that like a cymbal, they vibrate the sound of words that falls upon them and send it inward and transmit it even in the understanding of the heart. Where is the tongue, striking against the teeth and speaking, performs the part of the fiddle bow. The teeth also are formed, some for cutting and dividing the food and handling it over to the inner ones. And these in their turn bruise and grind it like a meal, that it may be more conveniently digested when it is conveyed into the stomach. For this reason, they are called grinders. So again, anything that has a reason must have a mind. So all these reasons that we are bringing forth comes from a mind.
But this mind is not from the mind of human flesh, but from divine wisdom. So when somebody asks, yo, prove to me God's knowledge,
Mm, mm, mm.
you simply come to page 186 and 187 and on, which we're going through.
Mm.
And you show them the reason. And then you show them the mind. And you let them know this is God's knowledge. This is proof of our God. Let's keep going. Breath and blood. The nostrils also. Getting to sleep. The nostrils also are made for the purpose of collecting, inspiring, and expiring air. Inspiring and expiring air, which means inhaling, exhaling, breathing out, and breathing in. That they by the renewal of the breath, the natural heat that is in the heart, may by reason of the lungs be either warmed or cooled. So right now, if we do this, that's hot. If we do this, blow, that's cold. That is not done by irrational nature. If that's hot, that's cold. What did that come from? The natural heat that is in the heart may by means of the lungs be either warmed or cooled, as the occasion may require, while the lungs are made to abide in the breaths, that by their softness they may soothe and cherish the vigor of the heart. In which the life seems to abide. The life, I say, not the spirit. And what will I say of the substance of the blood, which proceeding as a river from a fountain, because blood never stops flowing unless you die. And first born along in one channel or channel, and then spreading through the innumerable veins as through canals. You see how this all working just like Mother Earth? How water flows to her channels, her canals. Same way with our body. The blood flows through the veins. The blood will be the water. The veins will be the channels or the canals. Let's keep going. And then spreading through the innumerable veins as through canals, irrigates the whole territory of the human body with vital streams, being supplied by the agency of the liver, which is placed on the right side for affecting the digestion of food. What's the liver for? Affecting the digestion of food and turning it into blood. But in the left side is placed the spleen. What's the reason for the spleen? Which draws to itself and in some way cleanses the impurities of the blood. Again, there can be no reason without mind. We're breaking down the reason for everything. And since there is a reason, there is a mind. And that mind is divine wisdom, divine knowledge. The intestines. What reason also employed in the intestines, which are arranged in the long circular windings, that they may gradually carry off the refuse of food, so as either to render places subtly empty, and so as not to be hindered by the food that is taken afterwards. But they are made like a membrane, that the parts that are outside of them may gradually receive moisture, which if it were poured out suddenly, would empty the internal parts. When you go take a number 2. And not hindered by a thickened skin, which would render the outside dry and disturb the whole fabric of man with distressing thirst. Generation. Moreover, there is the wonder of the female form and the cavity of the womb, which is most suitable for receiving. Your womb is for receiving. And cherishing and vivifying the germ. Who does not believe that this has been made as it by reason and foresight. Everything has been made by reason and foresight. Somebody had to foresee that this was needed to be put here in order for this to happen. This was needed to be put here in order for this to happen. So therefore, there has to be a divine wisdom. Here we go. Because in that part alone of her body, the female differs from the male, in which the fetus being placed is kept and cherished. And again, the male differs from the female, only in that part of his body in which is the power of injecting seed and propagating male kind. And in this, there is a great proof of providence. There was a great proof of providence that a man is able to eject his sperm inside of a woman womb which receives the seed to bring forth mankind, which is reason, not irrational nature. Let's keep going. And in this, there is a great proof of providence from the necessary difference of members. How marvelous is it that were under a likeness of form there is found to be diversity of use of variety of office. What's the diversity? For males and female equally have titties or tits, but only those of the female are filled with milk. As soon as they have brought forth, the infant may nourish, suit them. So what's the reason for the milk inside the woman's tits? For the nourishment of the baby. Again, that is foresight from divine wisdom that has to have a mind which gave wisdom. Okay? But if we see the members in man arranged with such method, and that all the rest of creation, there is seen to be similarity of form, and a difference only in those in which their use requires difference. And we neither see anything superfluous or anything wanting in man, nor in woman anything deficient or in excess. From all these things, acknowledge the operation of reason and the wisdom of the Creator, not irrational nature. But why? The operation of reason and the wisdom of a Creator. Correspondence in creation. With the agrees also the reasonable difference of other animals, each one being suited to its own use and service. This also is testified by variety of trees and diversity of herbs, varying both in form and in juices. This also was asserted by change of seasons, distinguished into 4 periods, and the circle closing the year with certain hours, days, months, and not deviating from the appointed reckoning by a single hour. Hence, in short, the age of the world itself is reckoned by a certain and fixed account and definite numbers of years. Time of making of the world. But you will say, here's the questions. Let's say somebody comes and says, when was the world made and why so late? This you might have objected, though it had been made sooner. You might say, why not also before this? And so going back through unmeasured ages, you might still ask, why not sooner? But we are not now discussing this, why it was not made sooner, but whether the world was made at all. For it is obvious that it was made. It is necessarily the work of a powerful and supreme Creator. And if this is evident, it must be left to the choice and judgment of the all-knowing Creator when He should please to make it. Unless indeed you think that all this wisdom, which has constructed the immense fabric of the world and has given to the several objects their forms and kinds, assigning to them a habit, not only in accordance with beauty, but also most convenient and necessary for their future uses. Unless I say you think that this alone has escaped it, that it should choose a convenient reason for so magnificent work, a work of creation. He has doubtless a certain reason and evident causes why. Again, it goes back to what I said. There is a reason for everything. Hold on. There is a reason for everything. So let me read that again. You think that this alone has escaped it, that it should choose a convenient season for so magnificent a work of creation. He has doubtless certain reasons and evident causes why. Everything that we have read shows a reason and the evidence of causes of why, down to your breath and blood, your intestines, the correspondence of creation, the human body, power of water, germination of seeds. Okay? And when and how he made the world, but it were not proper that these should be disclosed to those that are reluctant to inquire into it and understand the things that are placed before their eyes and that testify his providence. So everything that is before our eyes is a testimony of his providence. That's something I've been saying for the longest, that the Most High's creation, his existence is manifested through his creation. Let me say that again. The Most High's existence is manifested through his creation. Let's keep going. For those things that are kept and are hidden within the senses of the Hakma, as in a royal treasury, or laid open to none but those who have learned of him. That's what we're doing. We're learning of him. Consider your ears to be blessed, because the world is in true ignorance. And like Yeshua said, there are many kings and prophets that wish to hear the things that y'all are hearing today. Even myself, for we are blessed, and we give almighty praises for these things that are laid open from the treasury that has been hidden from the world. But they can be seen in plain sight, but they don't know that this is the presence of our Elohim. Let's keep going. With whom these things are sealed and laid up, it is Yahuwah Elohim, therefore, who made all things. Again, we still in Genesis. And himself was made by none. But those who speak of nature instead of Elohim, you hear that? Those who speak of nature instead of Elohim and declare that all things were made by nature do not perceive the mistake of the name that they use. For if they think that nature is irrational, it is most foolish to suppose that a rational creature can proceed from an irrational creator. Let me say that again. For if they think that nature is irrational, it is most foolish to suppose that a rational creature can proceed from an irrational creator. But if it is reason, that is logos, by which it appears that all things were made, they change the name without purpose when they make statements concerning the reason of the creator. If you have anything to say to these things, my father, say on. Let's keep going. So, basically with the rest of this, it's just them talking, right? So what we're going to do is skip over to page 192 real fast. You guys can go back and read what they basically said. But what we're doing is we're going to stick to what we on. Now, it's getting deeper. Okay, it's getting deeper. 192. We're going to start at Genesis. If therefore it could be shown that mind and reason created all things. Now y'all see why I've been saying this the whole time. Mind and reason. If you guys go out and go to work, what's y'all reason? To bring money in, to put food on y'all table. Okay? So understand, reason cannot be without mind. So the fact that we show everything so far what goes on, like we said, with the intestines, the body, the female, the male, germination of seeds, water, we showed everything having its reason. So these reasons had to have a mind. And that mind, again, came from a divine power. Okay? If therefore it can be shown that mind and reason created all things, it follows that those that come after are also managed by reason and providence. So understand, anything that came after, okay, his reason must be what? Read that again. Managed by reason and providence. So everything was created by him. So by us being created by him, we are managed by him. We are managed by his reason and his providence. So if this world was created by reason, we are managed by the providence of that reason, which is the Elohim. Let's keep going. But if an intelligent and blind nature produces all things, the reason of judgment is undoubtedly overthrown. Let's go back in. Okay. Got you in there, King?
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened, man. I just moved my doggone camera trying to set it up. I moved the phone in it. But go ahead.
Okay.
Keep it running. Thank you.
You're welcome. So again, all must understand, he created everything. It was created with a reason. And the fact that we are created after his creation, we are governed by this reason and this providence, which is of Elohim. So since this world was made by reason, we are governed by this reason of the divine Elohim. Let's keep going. And there is no ground to expect their punishment of sin or reward of well-doing where there is no judge. Since then, so understand, if this was all done by a rational nature, that means there is no righteous judgment for those that do wickedly. Let's keep going. Since then, the whole matter depends upon this and hangs by head. Do not take it amiss if I wish to be discussed and handled somewhat more fully. For in this, the first gate, as it were, is shut towards all things that have been put before us. And therefore, I wish first of all to have it open to me. Now, therefore, hear what my doctrine is. And if any one of you pleases, let him reply to me, for I would not be ashamed to learn. If I hear that which is true, and to assent to him who speaks rightly, the discourse then, when you delivered yesterday, which asserted that all things consist by art, measure, and reason, does not fully persuade me that it is mind and reason that has made the world. This is what the old man is saying. For I have many things that I can show to consist my competent measure, form, and species, and that yet yet were not made by mind and reason. Then besides, I see that many things are done in the world without arrangement, consequences, or justice, and that nothing be done without courses of genesis. This I will, and the sequel prove most clearly from my own case. Now, I need everybody to pay attention to this, because if you can, take notes down. The best way to do it right now is to highlight the main key factors, then go back and take the notes and write them down. Because this verse right here, the rainbow and types and forms, is going to truly break down that there is a creator. The rainbow. We still in Genesis now. It gets deep. When the old man had thus spoken, Aquila answered, as yourself proposed that anyone who pleads should have an opportunity of answering to what you might say, my brother. Nikita permits me to conduct the argument today. And the old man, go on, my son, as you please. Aquila answered, you promised that you would show that there are many things in the world that have form and species arranged by equal reason. That yet it is evident we're not affected by Elohim as their creator. Now then, as you have promised, point out these things. Then said the old man, behold, we see the bow in heaven assume a circular shape, completed in all proportion and have appearance of reality, which in all probability neither mind can have constructed nor reason described. So he said the mind could not have constructed the reason described, and yet it is not made by any human mind. Behold, I have set forth the whole in the word, now answering. Here we go. If anything is expressed from a type and form, I need y'all to highlight this. Highlight this. Stay on course. Let's highlight this. If anything is expressed from a type and form, it is at once understood that it's from a reason. So understand, anything that has a type or a form, it is from a reason. Highlight that. Let's break it down. And that it cannot be made without a mind. So everything that we have just read has a type, has a form. So therefore it has a reason and cannot be made without a mind. Everything we read from page 186 all the way up to now has a type, a form, so therefore it has a reason and cannot be made without a mind. Okay? Since the type itself, which expresses figures and forms, was not made without mind. Now watch this. You're going to break it down. Highlight this. For if wax be applied to an engraved ring, it takes the stamp and figure from the ring, which is undoubtedly is without sense. But then the ring which expresses the figure was engraved by the hand of a workman. Let me say that again. If wax be applied to the engraved ring, it takes the stamp and figure from the ring, which undoubtedly is without sense. But the ring which expresses the figure was engraved by the hand of a workman, and it was mind and reason that gave the type to the ring. So then the boat also is expressed in the air, for the sun impressing its rays on the clouds, and the process of disbursement and fixing the type, and fixing the type of its circularity to the cloudy moisture. So let's put that together, okay? Here we go. So the bow is expressed in the air, for the sun impressing its rays on the clouds. This is the type we're talking about. I almost got lost. Okay, here we go. In the process of disbursement and affixing the type of its circularity to the cloudy moisture as if it were soft wax, produces an appearance of a bow. And this, as I have said, is affected by the reflection of the sun's brightness upon the clouds. And reproducing the brightness of its opportunity is presented by the disbursement of moistened clouds. And consequently, when the clouds again or condense and unite, the form. Okay? Break that down. Remember he said, if anything expressed by type, what's the type here? So, the type, let me break it down again. The type is what? The bow is also expressed in air. For the sun impressing its rays on the clouds and the process of disbursement and affixing the type of its circularity to the cloudy moisture, as it were salt to wax, produces the appearance of a bow. Okay? That's the type. And this, as I have said, now we finna talk about what? The form. Is affected by the reflection of the sun's brightness upon the clouds, reproducing the brightness of its circular from them. Now this does not always take place. Okay? But only when, consequently, when the clouds again are condensed and unite, here's the form. The form of the bow is dissolved and vanishes. Finally, the bow never is seen without the sun and clouds, just as the image is not produced unless there is a type and wax or some other material. Nor is it wonderful if Elohim the Creator in the beginning made types from which forms and species may now be expressed. But this is similar to that in the beginning Elohim created insensible elements that he might use for forming and developing all other things. But even those who form statues, listen to this, highlight this. But even those who form statues first make a mold of clay or wax and form it to the figure of the statue is produced. And then afterwards, a form and likeness of the statue. What will we say then? That the insensible statue forms a shadow finished with as diligent care as the statue itself? Not at all. Or will the finishing of the shadow be unhesitatingly described to him who has also finished the statue? So what did he just say? Someone forms a statue. Are you going to contribute the works to the shadow of that statue? Or are you going to contribute the works to the workman of that statue? You're going to give it to the works of what? The person who made it. So let me ask you a question. If you see a rainbow in the sky and you see that or if you see anything that gives shadow, are you going to give works? Are you going to give works to the shadow of that type and form? Or you going to give, or you want to attribute the works to a designer? You want to attribute those works to a designer. Huh? Let's keep going. Things apparently useless and vow made by Elohim. If then it seems to you that this is so, and what has been said on this subject enough, let us come to inquire into other matters. Or if you think that something is still wanting, let us go over it again. Let me see something right quick. And by anyways, Brother Yirmiyahu, would you like to say something?
Man, I'm just digging it, King. Just digging it. Digging the I haven't read through this in like 3 or 4 years, King. So this is a good rehashing of doctrine, man. I'm digging it. What it evidently shows is they definitely worship the Most High, and the laws of the Most High are superintended by creation. You know, basically that meant that is basically witnessed all around us, that It doesn't look like they needed a book, so to speak, because the heavens and the earth very much gave verifiable witness to the righteousness, like you said, types, forms, uh, full of beautiful works of the Creator. Like, no man could argue this stuff because it's all around us. That's what they could try, but it won't get very far. Some very intelligent creator created all this stuff that mankind couldn't have done, and I yield.
Okay. Correct, man. All praises. All praises. So, I got my notes here, and man, I didn't realize how much I had wrote. For those who don't know, understanding rational just means non-logical or reasonable. Okay, not based on logical reason or clear thinking. Okay, so we need to clear that up. So if one says that something was made by rational nature, they're saying something was made from non-logical, okay, something without clear thinking. And everything that we just read had a reason, and this was sought out by clear reasoning because it all worked out. Like we said, from the intestines to the germination of the seed, to bringing forth mankind, to the blood, the bones and the pillars, to the ears, the hand to hand, the foot to foot, everything was clear thinking. And irrational nature is not clear thinking. So therefore, irrational cannot create rational. All right, let's clear that up. Okay. Let's see what else I got in these notes right quick. So man, okay, so we at where we need to be. We almost finished. We'll create a part 2 later on, but we almost finished. But like I said, I did promise Sister Uma that next week we'll restart over on the whole Paul thing, and I'll do it this way because I realized when I did the Wi-Fi, it was messing up a lot. So I promised her that I would do the whole Paul thing over, and so that's what we do. But let's go ahead and finish with this. We'll create a part 2 later on, make up a date for another time. But after this, I will go into the whole Paul thing again, and we'll do that over. So, okay, so again, understand anything that has type and form, it is understood, it has a reason, and it's not made without mind. Okay, so everything you see all around you has type and form. Therefore, it has a reason, it's not made without mind. It has a shadow. You're not going to contribute that shadow to the type of form, but you're going to contribute that shadow to the designer of that type and form. Okay, that's why he gave you the whole parable with the wax and the ring. Okay, and how it's molded. Right? Who just went out, brother? You hear me? Yeah. Okay. There we go.
I try to adjust things on my screen, man, and sometimes I press the wrong thing. But go ahead.
Okay, King. So what I told them was, like we said, everything that has a type and reason, a type and form has a reason. Anything has a reason has a mind. And like we said, anything that has a shadow, you don't contribute that shadow to the type and form, but you contribute that work to the designer. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, if a mountain has a shadow, you don't contribute the works to the mountain. You contribute the works to the designer of that mountain. Again, that's why he made a parable of, with the wax and the ring, because the person that applied the wax to the ring was a designer, and the wax and the ring and the shadow, you don't contribute none of those works to the type and the form, but you contribute those works to the designer. Okay, that's why he gave that parable. So understand that. All right. So let's keep going. We on page 194, finishing where we was off at. Things apparently useless and vow made by Elohim. Okay. Now this is also one of my favorite ones, so I say we almost done. This next segment, I want y'all to highlight is a lot of this because it's gonna answer a lot of things. All right. Said I wish you would go over this again, since there were many other things that I see to be made in like manner. Now, for both the fruits of trees are produced in like manner, beautifully formed and wonderfully rounded. And the appearance of the leaves is formed with immense gracefulness, and the green membrane is woven with exquisite art. Then moreover, will we say that fleas, mice, lizards, such like are made by Elohim? Question mark. Hence, from these foul objects, a conjecture is derived concerning the superior, that they are by no means formed by the art of mind. You infer well, said Aquila, concerning the texture of leaves, and concerning small animals, that from these belief is withdrawn from the superior creatures. So what he's saying is, there are things made in this world that we can see around us that may have some type of irrational nature, okay? That will withdraw somebody from believing in a creator. Like he said, fleas, ticks, mice, maybe roaches, said lizards. There are things in this world that would withdraw someone, okay, from the beliefs of the creator. So if y'all can write this, I would say this, get a notebook and put this down. There are things in this world, from animals, we'll just say there are creations or things in this world that will withdraw the minds from the creator. Why? He's going to tell you why these things were made, okay? Because, man, I see it all around. I be like, man, why you make a roach? I'm like, why? Yeah, why? What's up with all these spiders that bite you, and what's up with this snake that venom, and yeah. But to the unseen eye, that will withdraw them from the belief of a creator, because they're gonna say, why do all these bad things happen? Why is this lion over here eating this and doing this? And there's a reason. But guess what though? Nothing bad comes from him. We're gonna find out why these things were like this. Because remember, everything was foreseen. And if it was, all I'm gonna say, if it was foreseen, it had a lot to do with us. Let's find out. You infer well, Aquila, concerning the texture of leaves and concerning small animals, that from these beliefs withdraw from the superior creatures. But these things should not deceive you and cause you to think that Elohim, working as it were only with two hands, cannot complete all things that are made. Remember how my brother Nikita answered you yesterday. How he truly disclosed the mystery before the time, as son speaking with his father, and explain why and how things are made to be seen to be useless. They may seem to be useless. Well, let's find out if they are useless. Orderly and disorderly. Then the old man, I should like to hear from you. Why those useless things are made by the will of the supreme mind. Said he, it is totally obvious to you that there is in them the work of mind and reason. And then you will not hesitate to say also why they were made, and to declare that they have been made rightly made. To this the old man added, I am not able, by my son, to say that those things that seem to be formed by art or by mind, by reason of other things that we see to be done unjustly and disorderly. We see this all the time. For some people may think that a lot of these things that are done unjustly and disorderly, this is what withdraws them from believing that there's a supreme Elohim. But if they don't have the true teachings, like Peter said, you can only receive these teachings from us. It shows. It shows. It's going to show. They'll continuously be withdrawn. But the fact, when I bring this out, it's actually going to draw y'all even closer to the Most High. What did he say? Those who keep my flock together or of me, those who scatter my flock or not of me. Let's keep this flock together. Let's draw more into the Most High. So when we see things disorderly and out of order, we don't be withdrawn. We're going to be able to call it for what it is and tell people why this is happening. Here we go. Those things that are done disorderly do do not allow you to say that they are done by Yahweh's providence. Why don't those things that are done orderly compel you to say that they are done by Yahweh? And that irrational nature cannot produce rational work. You hear that? Irrational nature cannot produce rational work. For it is certain, nor do we all deny, that in this world some things are done orderly and some disorderly. Should we believe, therefore, that those things that are done rationally are done by providence, but those that are done irrationally and inorderly, that seem to befall naturally, are accidents? Are they accidents? Not at all. But I wonder that men do not perceive that there is sense that things may be done in both an orderly and disorderly fashion. Let's find out why. But where there is no sense neither, the one nor the other can be done. For reason makes order, and the course of order necessarily produces something out of order. If anything contrary is allowed to disturb order, then the old man, I wish you would show me how this very thing is done. Here we go. Motion of the sun and moon. Aquila, I will do so without delay. Two visible signs are shown in the heaven, one of the sun, the other of the moon. And these are followed by 5 other stars, each describing it to its own orbit. These, therefore, Elohim has placed in the sky, by which the temperature of the air may be regulated according to its seasons, and the order of changes and alterations may be kept. But by means of the very same, it at any time he sends plagues and corruptions upon the earth for sins of men. The air is disturbed. Pestilence is brought upon animals. Blight upon crops. And a destruction, what this sound like, every year in every way upon man. Haven't y'all noticed that? Every year there is judgment that is brought upon man. It ain't a year that skips. Every year. So this was going on in a time. Every year there is a judgment brought upon man. Why? Because of the sins of men. So when we see things being done disorderly and out of orderly, let's understand these are done because of the sins of men. Let's read that again. If any time he sends plagues, we see that every year. Corruption upon the earth, we see that every year. It's for what? The sins of men. The air is disturbed. Pestilence is brought upon animals. Blight upon crops. And a destructive year in every way upon men. Why? Because of the sins of men. Thus it is, by one hand the same mean order is both kept and destroyed. For it is clear even to the unbelieving and unskillful that the course of the sun, which is useful and necessary to the world. Okay? So understand that even the unbelieving and the unskillful know, again, that the sun is useful and necessary to the world. But, which is assigned by providence, is always kept orderly. So, what would be the order? The sun, which is kept in necessity. That's order. What would be disorder? Plagues, corruption, disturbance of the air, pestilence brought upon animals, blight upon crops. But those are done because of the sins of men. Here we go. Thus it is that by one and the same means order be kept both and destroyed. For it is clear even to the unbelieving and skillful that the course of the sun, which is useful and necessary to the world, and which is assigned by providence, is always kept orderly. But the course of the moon in comparison of the course of the sun seem to the unskillful to be inordinate and unsettled in her waxing and wanings. For the sun moves in fixed and orderly periods. For from him are hours, from him the day when he rises, from him also the night when he sets, from him months and years and reckoned. From him the variation of the seasons are produced, while rising to a higher region, talking about the sun. He tempers the spring, but when he reaches the top of the heaven, he kindles the summer's heat. Again sinking, he produces the temper of autumn, and returns to his lowest circle. He bequeaths to us the rigor of winters, cold from icy behinding of heavens. So what do we, this goes back to what we said. Reason is with mind. This mind has a divine wisdom. Let's go to the reason of the sun. It moves in fixed and orderly periods. From him are hours and days when he rises. And from him also the night when he sets. So when he sets, it's for the night to come. The sun is for nights and for days and hours. From him, months and years are reckoned. We see this. From him, the variations of seasons are produced. We see this. We still in Genesis. We ain't never left Genesis 1. But this gives you the reason, okay, of the divine wisdom of why creation is the way it is. Here we go. The sun rising to the higher regions. What happens when it rises to the higher regions? Tempers the spring. What happens when it reaches the top of the heavens? Kindles the summer's heat. When it sinks, what happens? It tempers the autumn. When he returns to the lower circles, what does it do? It bequeaths to us the rigor of winter's cold from the icy bindings of the heavens. All of this was not done by irrational nature, because irrational cannot create rational. Rational will be what we just read with the sun, right? Irrational only creates irrational. Here we go. Sun and moon both minister good and evil, but we will discourse at greater length on these subjects at another time. Now, meantime, don't we see that though he is that good servant for regulating the changes of the seasons? Yet when chastisement is inflicted upon man according to the will of Elohim, watch this, y'all. Don't we witness this every year? He glows more fiercely and burns up the world with more vehement fires. All those wildfires we've been seeing, how hot it's been getting every year. This is chastisement. This is chastisement from our Elohim. This is judgment. But they're going to blame it on science. So understand, when we see things in order, we give praises to the Most High. When we see things out of order, we still give praises to the Most High. While those who don't know the Most High, they give praises to blasphemy, like science. I think Peter might say that in one of these. So understand, when we see things out of order, I'm bringing y'all to the knowledge that's going to withdraw y'all even closer when we see these things out of order, because you know why. Let's keep going. Again, but we will discourse at greater length on these subjects of another time. Now, meantime, don't we see that though he is that good servant for regulating the changes of the seasons, yet when chastisement, the disorderly, is inflicted upon man according to the will of Elohim, he glows more fiercely and burns up the world with more vehement fires. All praises. In like manner also the course of the moon and the changing that seems to be to the unskillful to be disorderly is adapted to the growth of crops and cattle and all living creatures. For by her waxing and windings, by a certain wonderful contrivance of providence, everything that is born is nourished and grows. We could speak about that more in length and unfold the matter in detail, but that seems to be enough to answer the question as proposed. So by the very same appliance by which they are produced, all things are nourished and increased. On the other hand, when from any just cause, the regulation of the appointed order is changed. Did you hear that? Let's read that again. The regulation of the appointed order is changed. Corruption and distemper arise, so that chastisement may come upon men by the will of Elohim, as we have said. So these floods, what you call them? I forgot what the other word for them, but floods, typhoons, heavy storms, wildfires, tornadoes, all of these are done by the chastisement of the Elohim. Because why? The order has been disturbed. Okay? What order? Eating of flesh, adultery, spiritual fornication or spiritual adultery, murder, coveting, envy, strife. So just imagine all this stuff that goes on. It's like a parent that watches their child, and then they watch their child be disobedient for so long, the buildup in their heart finally disperse. And they chastise their child at some point. It's no different than that. All the sins of this world, our sins, build up so strong that at some point there's a burst. And this is why we get wildfires, tornadoes, floods. This is our chastisement. But one gonna ask, why does the righteous be chastised with the unrighteous? We're gonna get to that. Let's keep going. 195. Chastisement on the righteous and the immoral. Here we go. But maybe you will say, what of the fact that in that common chastisement, like things befall good and evil? It is true, we confess it. But the chastisement of the righteous turns to their advantage. Everybody that's listening, this is for your advantage, okay? This is for our advantage. Let's find out what our advantage is. It's for their advantage. They're being afflicted in this present life, they become more purified to the future, in which perpetual rest is prepared for them. And that at the same time, even the evil may somewhat profit from their chastisement. So that goes back to what my sister Uma said. No, it's kind of hard for men. Yeah, it was very hard for me in the beginning. But guess what? Just like he said, that you may become more purified to the future. The afflictions are supposed to lighten up your burdens for you to do well and do better. So you can have knowledge of what to do and what not to do. So let me give you an example. I watched a lot of people, bills go up through the roof. Always got to watch TV. Always got to have a game system on. Always got to do something. So what I did was, let's stay at work. Let's stay grinding. Let's study and not worry about what's going on TV because it's just acting. We save more money by not keeping up with the Joneses, by not worrying about worldly things. When I did that, like I say, $33 light bill, $22 last month. My past chastisements of being worldly cost me to be this way. Realizing I didn't need things that were irrelevant. And that all I need is the Most High. And focusing on two things, work and reading his word day and night the best way I can. Whether I read it on break or read it here and there. But just know one thing I can say, even when I'm at work, I'm reading in my mind of what I read over some yesterday. It's always in my heart. So our past chastisements is for better future rewards and a better rest. You know how much rest I get at night knowing I don't have to do as much because I don't need as much. Got to be content. I get a lot of rest, man. So when he said that the hands was made for work, I'm okay with working that because I see why I got hands. I need these to work. Don't work, you don't eat. But this was all done for a righteous purpose, like he said. Either to choose to steal or to work for your food. Steal for your food or work for your food. And I believe we're going to, is either one of these passages or maybe the next one if we don't get to it. So understand that when you work, you become a righteous friend and somewhat to the Most High because you chose not to steal or commit thefts and murders. You're right. You're working some righteous judgment. So again, these afflictions that we go through is for our advantage so that we can receive a spiritual rest in the afterlife and a rest in this life. It's not always going to be easy, but for the most part, if we stick to these writings, it's going to be easy as can be. While the whole world is busybodying, we're going to have some of the best rest in the world, which is through our Elohim. Let's keep going. What of the fact, I'm going to read that over, that in common chastisement, like things befall the good and evil. It is true, and we confess it. But the chastisement of the righteous turns to their advantage, that being afflicted in the present life, they may become more purified to the future, in which perpetual rest is prepared for them. And that at the same time, even the evil may somewhat profit from their chastisement. He said, even the evil may profit from their chastisement. Let's find out why. Turning them into righteous, or else that the just sentence of the future judgment may be passed upon them. Since the same chastisement, the righteous give thanks to Yahweh, while the unrighteous blaspheme. That's why I said that earlier. Anytime you receive that chastisement, we're supposed to give thanks to the Most High. We don't question it. We just do better. That way we don't receive that chastisement. And then we give thanks. But when the unrighteous receive their chastisement, they give thanks to blasphemy for whatever reason. But it won't be the Most High. But just know that your chastisement is for an advantage for the future to come. Whether it be in the afterlife or this present life, it's for your advantage. Trust and believe that. Okay? Another example, brother, like Jeremiah said, dealing with the wrong women. Now has a great, wonderful wife. His past chastisement led him up to a great future, which is with the woman he has now. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us and a lot of y'all that's on here with us got testimonies too of y'all past chastisements, which allowed y'all to think better and to do better. But don't give thanks to blasphemy. Give thanks to Yahweh. Okay? We almost done with this. Believe we're gonna stop at, we're gonna stop. Okay, yeah. Probably stop at 197. Here we go. While the unrighteous blaspheme, therefore, since the opinion of things divided into two parts, that some things are done by order and others against order, it ought from those that things that are done according to order to be believed that there is a providence. But with respect to those things that are done against order, we should look for their causes from those who have learned from them by the teaching of the prophets. For those who have become acquainted with the discourse of the Nabaim know when and for what reason blight, hail, pestilence, and similar things have occurred in every generation, and for what sins they have been sent as a punishment. When causes of sadness, lamentation, griefs have befallen the human race, whence also trembling sickness has ensued, and that this has been from the beginning the punishment, here it is, for murder. for murder. It's so hot in St. Louis. We still either number one, number two for murder rates. It's so hot down here. I had to tell somebody the other day. They sweat. Who is hot? I said, you know why? Why? Because for murder. But he don't know I'm speaking. I ain't no murderer. What about that animal you ate last night? For murder. Since the beginning of time. What that say? From the beginning of time, the punishment for murder. That's man and animals. So all these punishments we see going on, the main causes is for murder. That's deep. And we see that in Genesis chapter 6. For what did he say? For all flesh corrupted flesh. That's why he brought the flood. And what was it? Murder. Not because of Adam. Adam ain't murder nobody. Because of the sins of man. Murder. That's right, Sister Uma. Correct. That's Brother Wallace. Correct, Brother Wallace. Page 196 for murder. Genesis 6. Here we go. Chastisement of sins. From the beginning of the world, there were none of these evils. None of these evils. None of these evils. But they took their rise from the rebellion of man, not Adam. They took their rise from the rebellion of man. We still in the beginning, y'all. And this with the constant increase of iniquities, the number of evils have increased. So y'all can see outside that the punishment has increased. But that goes right with nature. What's going on now? Because iniquities have increased. The more iniquities increase, the more punishment increase. Here we go. But for this reason, Yahweh has decreed a judgment with respect to all men, because the present life was not such that everyone could be dealt with according to his deserving. Those things, therefore, that were well and orderly appointed from the beginning, when no cause of evil existence, are not to be judged from the evils that have befallen the world by reason of the sins of men. In short, as an indication of the things that were from the beginning, some tribes are found that are strangers to these evils. You can look these people up. For the Seres, S-E-R-E-S, I looked them up. They was vegans. Because they lived chastisedly, or kept free from them all. For they do not come at a woman after she has conceived, or while she is being purified. No one there eats unclean flesh. They know nothing of Zabahim, but all are shoftim to themselves according to justice. For this reason, they are not chastened with those plagues of which we have spoken. They live to an extreme old age and die without sickness. But we miserable, or we are, dwelling as it were with deadly serpents. The righteous with the immoral. The immoral will be the deadly serpents. Deadly serpents. I mean, with immoral men. Necessarily suffer with them the plagues of afflictions in this world, but we cherish hope from the comfort of good things to come. Elohim's precepts despise. If said the old man, even the righteous are tormented on account of the iniquities of others. Elohim ought, as foreseeing this, to have commanded man not to do those things from which it should be necessary that the righteous be afflicted with unrighteous, or they did them. He ought to have applied some correction or purification to the world. Elohim said, Aquila did so command and gave precepts to the Navadim, how men ought to live. But even these precepts they despise. Indeed, if any desired to observe them, they afflicted them with various injuries until they drove them from their purpose observance, turned them to the rabble of infidelity and made them like themselves. So no matter what happens, brotherhood, don't become like them. Don't let nobody torture you into being like them. Let's stay up on our posts. Even with me as being a young man sometimes. Hey, look, the flesh is the flesh, but I have to bring it back in. That's why I hurry up and run away from the world. Because, man, it's real out there. And I'm still young. But I'm glad I got these teachers and this guidance. Because, man, they sure be trying to wheel me back in. I had a dude tell me at my job, Byron, man, they don't want the godly you. They want the 06 you. I can't give them that. There ain't no 06 me coming back. 06 me going back to jail. I might, hey, look here. Ain't no 06 me coming back. He dead. We stand in order. Here we go. We almost done. So in short, at first, when all the earth had been stained with sins, Yahweh brought a flood. There it is, Genesis 6. Notice how he said nothing about Adam. Nothing was blamed on Adam. He brought it straight to Genesis 6. The flood of the world, which you say was done by Decalion. And at that time he saved a certain righteous man with his sons in the ark. And with him the race of all plants and animals. Yet even those who sprang from them after a time again did deeds like those of their predecessors. For those things that had befallen them were forgotten, so that their descendants did not even believe that the flood had taken place. So Elohim also decreed that there should not be another flood in the present world, as there should have been one in every generation, according to the account of their sins, by reason of their unbelief, but rather granted that certain Malachim who delight in evil should bear sway over several tribes. And to them was given power over individual men, yet only in this condition: if only one first had been made himself subject to them by sinning, until he should come who delights in good, and by him the number of the righteous should be completed. And by the increase of the number of the obedient, men all over the world disobedient shall be in the same measure oppressed. And it should be known to all that is good is done by Yahuwah. So understand that only way you can be good is through the spirit of Elohim. And we're going to read this last chapter off. And then, like I said, we'll set up another time to read the rest. Okay? I want y'all to go to sleep with this on your minds. Evil's brought in by sin. But by the freedom of the will, every man, while he is unbelieving in regard to this to come, runs into evil by doing evil deeds. This is why the ignorant are the ignorant are the way that they are, because they are ran by evils. So they run into evils by doing evil things. And these are the things in the world that seem to be done quite contrary to order, which they're existing to man rebellion against Torah. That's right. Therefore, the purpose of Yahweh is for man to worship him, which he granted to man in the beginning. They were walking in the good way of life in order to enjoy incorruptible good things. But when they sinned, they gave birth to evil by sin. And to every good thing, evil is joined, as by a certain covenant of alliance on the part of sin. Since indeed the earth has been polluted with human blood, and altars have been lightened to demons, and they have polluted the very air by filthy smoke of sacrifice. And so at length the elements, being first corrupted, have been handed over to men the fault of their corruption, as nourish the branches and the fruit. So there it is. Murder, sacrifices, human blood, all murder. So that's what we got. Like I say, it's more knowledge to come. Where we ended up at 197. Like I say, Sister Oma, when I get a chance, we're going to finish that thing off with Paul. Well, we've been on this thing for 2 hours.
Okay.
Who is that? Aki Wallace. Okay.
for 2 hours. So again, sum it all up. Everything has a reason. And if you have a reason, there must be a mind. And like I tell people, I told this guy, what's the reason for you having 2 hands? He said to grab stuff. I say, no, to work. He said, that's right. I say, so therefore that's a reason. I said, so therefore a reason governs this earth. And whatever's reason that is, it's a providence. Point blank. There's a reason for seeds. There's a reason for sperm. There's a reason for the womb. There's a reason for the female milk and her tits. There's a reason for the sun. There's a reason for the moon. There's a reason for water. There's a reason for the intestines, the bones, the pillars, again, the ear. All of these have reasons. So if they have a reason, it must come from a mind. And therefore, this world is governed by that reason and that mind, which is your Elohim. And therefore, all sins that are acted upon this earth, which may seem disorderly, is because the corruption of man, the burnings, the fires, all this stuff increases due to the increases of iniquity. So understand, everything we just read was just giving you a better breakdown in Genesis 1 of those reasons. I told you he made the sun and the moon. We gave you the reasons why. Man in his own image, man and woman, gave you the reason why. Fruits and herbs gave you the reason why. You know, everything in Genesis 1 we just basically covered, but with reason and mind. That was not done by irrational nature, because irrational cannot produce rational. Which irrational means what? Without clear thinking. Those things have been done by clear thinking and was thought out 100% well because it worked. And it was not done by us. So anybody got any questions before we leave off?
No, just appreciate you reading this out, bringing out that truth.
For sure. Mama Uma
Yeah,
said,
I concur. I don't have any questions, but I'm really appreciative of your offering.
sure.
That was all right. That was all right.
My,
Want to give you some finger snaps. Feel like a good spoken word section.
my bag, man. Like I said, this stuff right here, man. Like I said, I'm talking about I wrote it all down. Like I'm putting arrows and all type of stuff. Like I really be sitting back, man. I'm like, man, I got to get this out. You know, so I kept promising y'all, but I've been working so much. I said, you know what? They had to end up sending me home because I had too many hours. So I said, I'm gonna get it in today. That's cool. Because we can only max out at 68 hours driving these buses. I guess that's cool. So they had to end up sending me home early yesterday, 2 hours prior, and I went on. I can only do 8 hours today because I've been pulling 12s off. So I said I'm gonna go ahead and get it in. You know. So but yeah, so I thank y'all. You know, let's give thanks to the Most High, the Creator. Like I say, Sister I still got my Paul notes, so we're gonna do that next time. Like I said, we just gonna do it like this without the Wi-Fi, since y'all can hear me more clear. I would like to do that over and then give you all the notes to that. But other than that, man, give all praise. I'm gonna end this off with a prayer. Our Heavenly Father, which art thou in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Hallelujah. I say lie. I do want to show you. I do got. Let's see. Of course, my newest books. You know, I'm trying to see about this. This Hager Cephas, man, he was a Nazarene. I'm gonna see what's all really in this one. But it's another 50. This one number 20, but it's a $50 book that's probably only 6 pages long. We talk about James. Trying to see if it was in this one. I'm gonna have to search out. Like I said, here's Tertullian. Tertullian talks about the Ebionite to Hebion, but we know Panarion and them mostly talk about it more. The Lost Gospel Q sounds a little different than what they supposed to be. Basically like what he said in Matthew, and so it sounds a little different. You know, they don't say like the kingdom of God; they say the realm of God. But those just my new 3 books and all. But ain't too many really out there. I got to get Brother Toby y'all book. I'm gonna get that next. So it ain't really too much books out there for us left, y'all. We pretty much covered all and got them all. You know what I'm saying? Anything else is really just extra. You know what I'm saying? But all praises. Like I say, let's get it in some more.
Yeah, I think you might like that Lost Gospel of Q. I used to have it when we first came in the truth. I had that before we moved back up here about eight years ago, and I ended up giving away about 2,000 books.
Okay, yeah, I kind of like it. Yeah,
It's all right.
yeah, it's all right. So yeah, let's get it in. I know I be trying to tune in at work. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know driving the bus, we can't be having no headgear on. So I try to tune in every time when brother be speaking with the Toby Yah book. But you know, we only get like splits. Our breaks be us pulling up at our stops. So every time we pull up at our bay, we got 2 points. We driving through this bay, maybe 20, 25 minutes. Then we driving through again at the end of this bay. This bay maybe 15, 20, depends on which route and what time we're running it. So that's why y'all see me keying in here and there. But other than that, our rides be at the most like an hour to each end. So by the time, that's why it's gonna be all good. When I get to my point I'm gonna get to, I'll be able to cut the overtime down a little bit. But like I say, I'm just trying to take care of business and get my son ready. But I thank y'all for listening, man. But this is a blessing. So this is what we're supposed to be doing, man. And I love y'all.
Love you too, brother.
Right.
Thanks again.
You're welcome. Y'all get y'all some rest.
Yeah,
Peace and blessings.
peace and blessing.